yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're on. Thank you for joining us for a very special episode 25.
Numero 25.
Of the BOWA Show. You'll probably notice that we're in different clothes than the interview that you're going to watch later.
Yep.
And that's because we recorded them at separate times.
Yep.
So
Whole different day.
Whole different day.
You know, when people can come on our show and they've got a schedule, we like to
work them in.
Very
first guest today, TJ Wagonmaker Smith. You guys are going to hear from him. Big thank you to TJ for joining us.
Yes.
It's awesome to hear his story, so make sure you stick around till the end of the episode to where you'll hear that. And yeah, he had a lot of awesome points to drill home about mental health, which is what led us to decide to do today's episode all about something like that. We've done one of these before where it's just kind of like a mental health hype video. Like, it's a lot of things to help motivate you, help think about things, kick around stuff. We always want to be an encourager on this show for mental health awareness and the fact that it's a struggle that everybody thinks they're going through alone, and we're all going through it together, and a lot of us in our own way just can't come out and talk about it yet. So that's what today's episode is all about. So we'll kind of mess around with the opening music here real quick, and then we'll get the regular podcast going. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. All right, let's lead in with the intro audio, and then we'll jump into the intro take.
And you have to remember to stop it for some reason?
Correct. Do we want to play it through then?
You can hit it for a minute at least.
I'm going to try it again.
Just for a minute?
I'm going to try it again. I'm going to give it a shot, see if it works again.
Well, you got to stop it first.
I'm going to try anyway.
Just stop it first.
All right.
So you can stop it here. Yeah. Hello, and welcome to the BOWA Show.
25.
Episode 25. Woo!
We made it. We're old.
It really does feel pretty cool, though, that, like, I don't know how we got to 25 so quickly. Like,
no, it's almost been like 25 weeks or something.
Right? That's
who
how
thought?
Time works.
Oh, man.
So, like, half a year of episodes. Next week.
I thought about that the other day. Like, I put it
year.
into perspective. And what, we start, like, in May or April?
Yeah.
Way back. We were thinking, we were recording into my laptop microphone.
Yup.
Ugh.
Rough going early on.
Oh, it was bad. And we're going to laugh at this again when we look at our YouTube videos here and what, another
a couple
20 episodes.
See how far our YouTube is coming at that point. It'll be amazing to see. And it's funny you bring up how crappy our early audio was, because we have, for the very first time on the BOWA Show today, a guest that you guys will hear from at the end of the episode. His name is TJ Wagonmaker Smith.
Great dude.
I knew him from high school, and we kind of lost touch over the years, but he was a huge help, and he was one of the first people who reached out to me when I said that I wanted to do a podcast to say, hey, if you need anything, just let me know. And he has saved us time and time again. He gave us a way better program to use that absolutely changed the game for us. It's the only reason we're able to do this show at a lot longer, rate now, because of the fact that we have a program that allows it. So
he's an audio engineer genius.
He is. He absolutely changed.
What he does.
He changed the game for us. So a big thank you to him for that. But he also had a battle with mental health that he's open about sharing, and he's willing to be vulnerable and share it with you guys. And so make sure you tune in at the end of the episode to hear from TJ. But I just want to welcome you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time listening or your first time checking us out on YouTube, thank you. If you're on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button down there in the corner. If you're on Apple Podcasts, always click that subscribe button. Leave us those reviews. They are big. They mean absolutely everything. They're the way more people hear about this show. So please, please, please continue to comment on things. Continue to share. Continue to make us a part of your online social media experience, because it only helps this show grow. And we're seeing the numbers steadily come in for that, which
we'll try to keep you motivated through the week and just help motivate other people.
That's right. And
if
you're listening to this or seeing this, there's going to be a giveaway this week for a gift card of some pretty good size. So I think you might want to make sure you stay tuned or check out the BOWA Show page for that. The BOWA Show on Facebook. Make sure you're there and you're a part of that community so you can see the giveaway. Oh yeah, Twitter. No, don't go on Twitter.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to end up with Facebook, I'm going to end up with Twitter, and it's going to get basically the same way it started so far.
It's going to get rowdy on Twitter. That's the way it's going to get on Twitter. So
straight
thank
rowdy.
you so much if you're a new listener joining us. If you're one of our regular people coming back, we know we appreciate you so much. And we put you over time and time again because of the fact that you are everything to us. So thank you for being a good listener. Thank you for being a part of a growing community. And thank you for joining us on what is a milestone episode 25 of the BOWA Show.
Yep, great first step.
Today's all about mental health. Today's all about mental strength. It's going to be a little bit of a hype day for you. We've got some good videos to get your spirits uplifted, to carry you out throughout the week and give you that positivity package that we know you come here for, and bringing back some comedy today as well. So.
Yes. I got a little bit of flack via text.
So did I. That's funny too. I did too.
Same guy, I'm sure.
No, I got it from Margie.
Really?
Yeah, she was upset we didn't have
I won't name any
week.
names, but all of a sudden I got a text early Monday morning said, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was he was wanting that comedy.
Okay, good. I like hearing that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna return the comedy today, but it's also, like I said, with our first ever guest, it makes me so pumped.
It's such a fun episode.
It is. This is exactly where I wanted this show to go. I want people to come on and share their stories and let people out there know that they can relate to you, that this isn't something that they're going through alone. That's huge for people. So we want to make sure that that's a part of this show going forward. So,
and if you want to join, come on.
That's exactly it. If you want to come on and share your story, awesome. If you want to come on and challenge me about the way that I feel I am in life, come on. If you want to come on and you just want to vent your frustrations out for the day and get things off your chest, you're welcome to for that too.
I've had a couple of people say, I want to come over and just see what's going on during the
Right?
podcast. And I want to just send them this picture. Like,
Right.
hey,
Tell
we would love
them
to
to check out YouTube now, where it's like, hey,
Right.
go check out the behind
I'd love
the
to have
scenes.
a studio audience, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know, but if you want to come on the show.
Yeah, we're more than open to guests at this point. People reach out. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if it's something you'd be interested in, if you have a story that you want to share, if you just have some experiences you'd like to pass along, the easiest way to learn in this world is not through your own experiences, it's through other people's, because it doesn't hurt as much and it makes you twice as smart.
And I still don't learn enough.
Oh no, nobody ever does. That's the problem. But we want that to be a part of the growing community as well. So before this show explodes and millions of people are downloading us every Monday for their positivity package, get on that train early and come join us on the BOWA Show as a guest.
Possibly win something, you said later in the show?
That's right.
I guess we'll have
Pay
to stick
attention.
around.
I guess you'll have to listen to this whole episode if you want to hear about a pretty good sized gift card that could be coming your way if you participate this week. So it'll be a multi-day event that'll bring in all sorts of different avenues to keep you guys invested in the BOWA Show. But feel free to join us on that later. We'll get back to that. We'll start this episode off the same way we always do with I've got some good news for you.
What do we have today, Sean?
Today is a pretty just easy piece, a feel-good piece. As everybody out there listening knows, I kind of enjoy wrestling, and that is a part of my life. So I saw this story about Chris Jericho, a wrestler for AEW, a new company that is actually debuting on TNT this next Wednesday, October something, 8 p.m. But it's a brand new company, then it's really cool to kind of see this promotion behind them. And Chris Jericho is pretty known for philanthropy and stuff that he does, so it's just a feel-good piece that I thought would be easy to read and share with you guys. So
I think so. It's literally called Chris Jericho Saves the Day Again.
That's right. So it's something that he's done a couple of times already. So Chris Jericho has saved the day again for another professional wrestler. As we noted earlier this month, Nasty Boy Brian Knobbs needed help to cover medical costs after he suffered a debilitating infection in his knee that called for a total knee replacement. A GoFundMe account with a $10,000 goal was set up to help him out.
Yeah, it's pretty significant. The goal was reached thanks to donations from friends and fans and a very nice $1,500 donation from Chris Jericho. It's not the first time Jericho has done this. He has quietly donated to many campaigns, including the following: $5,000 to the Balls of Mahoney, $2,500 to set up for Tyler Breeze and Kevin Owens for the victims of the Alberta forest fires, $3,000 towards Rico Constantino's medical bills, $2,500 towards Rex King's funeral costs, $2,500 $2,500 to help with Jerry Lynn pay for several medical procedures.
This is crazy, dude. This list just keeps on going. There's like another 7 or 8 on here.
Do I have to read them all?
No, you don't have to. We'll just skip to the end where it says Jericho might be a son of a bitch on AEW TV, but in the reality of the world, he's one of the nicest guys out there.
Yeah.
And so that's just a nice feel-good piece to roll with to start us today. And a big shout out to Y2J for being a good example to the rest of us that when you got extra, if I've always held on to the quote, if you find yourself with more than enough, build a longer table, not a higher wall.
There you go.
And that's something that I keep true to my heart for sure. And I love philanthropy. And as you heard me talk about on this show before, I set really high goals for myself in this world. And my main reason to attain them is because I want to change a lot of other people's lives. Right. And so it's something that I continue to reach for and try and find new avenues to get me there just because of the fact that I know I want to change a lot of people's lives in this world.
And I think it's awesome too. I know a lot of people would say, "Oh, that's great, Chris Jericho. Like he's got all this money, so he's giving some away. Congratulations."
Right.
Why doesn't Bill Gates freaking donate millions of dollars to certain things? But
he does.
But right. But that's the thing is, so many people get caught up on that train and don't get caught up on that train because he's doing a lot.
Yeah.
Regardless of where he comes from, he's playing a good hand. He's being a helping hand in the community, in the world that we live in. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, and that's all you can ask for ultimately.
Absolutely.
As somebody who's doing their part. So I feel like that's a good, just feel good piece for you guys. Keep that energy rolling.
Chris freaking Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
You and your wrestling, I tell you what.
Oh, you know me. It's part of my life. But I want to jump into our first video.
This is one of my personal favorites of all time.
It's
when this came up on YouTube, when Sean and I were cruising around, I said, "This is a good one. I know this is a good one. I've heard this one." It comes from a pretty popular guy, Will Smith. It's a really great piece. It's something I heard, I think, 2 or 3 years ago now. But it's just so good. He's such a great guy at heart. Like we said with the last piece, just because he's famous and he's a millionaire and he's got all these great things at his disposal, he's deep and down to earth and understanding and only wants what's best for the people around him and the human race in general. Yeah. And I love that about him.
Yep, and so it's just, like you said, if you're someone who's listened to this show at all before, you know that we just like to present you with some videos and stuff that get you hyped. It's about 6 minutes long, I think, so we'll probably break it up into a 2-parter, stop it partway through, talk about it a little bit, and then jump into the last little bit there. So yeah, go ahead and take a listen. I did see one spike in here, right there. I want to make sure that's not like a clip or something.
I think I clapped.
Okay.
It's so difficult. Yeah, you're right. I'm hitting my...
That's why we don't have the camera on the table anymore for those of you watching YouTube.
We used to be so cautious. I was like, don't touch the table. Face the microphone.
Ben is very animated about his gestures, so we had to move the camera off the table so that it doesn't shake for you guys all the time.
Yeah, that's my bad.
And now he's clapping into the microphone and getting the audience like, Jesus, what was that?
And checking stuff now, too, to see what's going on, just in case. Yep. Man, for a second, I second-guessed myself, didn't know if we were going into the right mic. My goodness.
If you're watching on YouTube, we're not recording on the podcast right now, so you're inclined to the behind-the-scenes information that Ben's a little hungover today, so he's struggling to get through.
We're telling people that?
Yeah, well, I am. He's struggling to get through the motions of a lot of things. So he's deep breaths. He's trying to focus. We're going to push through this and present to you a great episode about mental health.
Life is a party. Live it. Is all I'm saying.
Right.
If there's one thing that I believe, that is what I believe.
All right, so now we got to shift Will Smith over, yes?
Yep, we're going to bring him up, actually, in the first take. You know what? I'm not going to do that, actually. I'll leave it where it is and just drop it. Switch him over.
Then we got to,
That's how it works every time I try.
a lot of intro into this one, so.
No, I don't think we need it. Stand by. I'll cut it, don't worry.
I mean, do you just want to hit stop then?
Nope.
No, I'll hit stop then.
Yeah, hit stop it.
Now we are.
All right.
the situation. The question is, can you handle your mind? Can you manage the thoughts and the emotions that are trying to poison your progress?
Yeah, probably better for
Forget
you to
managing
be
the
up there.
situation. Manage your mind.
That actually doesn't sound like a bad level to begin with. Then.
I think our greatest gift
It's louder than us.
as a species is
Neil
not our
deGrasse
body.
Tyson is one of my favorites too.
Definitely. You should read his book out. That's like
We're not the fastest. We're not the
astrophysics for
strongest.
people with zero time. It's real quick and it's great. I read it in like
Hardly
2 hours.
distinguishes itself in any way in the animal kingdom. Our greatest sort of gift in the tree of life is our mind.
For a cutting point.
No, look how loud it's
Maybe
gonna
it is
Oh
we
yeah.
who are imprisoned, thinking our body matters, when in fact at the end of the day, it's really
See, Ben's just ahead of the curve. His body doesn't matter, so he treats it like a roller coaster, but his mind, sharp as a tack.
how we react
I wonder.
to our life experience in this world and share it with others.
Where they always find this great music.
Right.
I wanna know.
It's got to be from that free site you were talking about.
What you see impacts how you feel, and the way you feel can literally change what you see. What you see is a complex mental construction
I feel.
of your own making, but you experience it passively as a direct representation of the world around you. Hold yourself accountable for every
we have
moment,
another pen?
every thought,
Nope.
every detail. See beyond your fears, recognize your assumptions, harness your internal strength, silence your internal critic, correct your misconceptions about luck and about success, accept your strengths and your weaknesses and understand the difference. Open your hearts to your bountiful blessings. Your fears, your critics, your heroes, your villains, they are your excuses, rationalizations, shortcuts, justifications, your surrender. They are fictions you perceive as reality. Choose to see through them. Choose to let them go. You are the creator of your reality.
No matter how many people are against you or the haters who said you can't do it, you can't become it, you can't have it, no matter what your ex-husband said about you, if you take these 3 soldiers with you, intellect, instinct, and inspiration, you will always achieve your dream.
We're the authors of our stories and can change the way we're telling them. Your life isn't just a list of events. You can edit, interpret, and retell your story even as you're constrained by the facts.
Don't listen
That's
to
a good
anyone
spot
who
to
tries
cut,
to
I
get
think.
you to
Thanks for bearing with us.
I'm telling you,
Only having one pen here.
it's a great freaking audio clip.
Yeah.
I love this audio clip.
And by a lot more than Will Smith. I think that is a fantastic.
Start over.
Yeah.
You blew it.
You blew it just by hitting it out of
You
nowhere.
should have known.
I love where this is starting out.
Yep.
A whole
Told
lot
you.
of
It's good.
a whole lot of mentality, a whole lot of changing your perception that, like, yes, the circumstances right now might suck. Yes, the odds might be stacked against you. Yes, you're battling this uphill battle, but little victories, little steps, little. How many times do we talk about baby steps on this show, man?
Every show.
Every single show.
I love it. Immediately reached out to me when he says, "What you feel impacts what you see."
Yeah.
And that is so strong for me because I have these mental things I go through all the time, and have had mental, clinical depression in the past. And I've seen I can go through the same day. I've stepped back and I've seen it. I go through the exact same day, side by side. But one day I was in a different place, and one day I was in a little bit better place.
Yeah.
And even though the same thing happened, my thoughts and my emotions were completely different because I felt bad one day, and just the drive home and stuff will kill you. And then when you really look at it, It's the same as when you feel okay or good or great. Same drive, but it really felt different to me because of how I felt. And I think if we're always feeling down or negative, I think that's the point, is if we're feeling negative all the time, or if we're thinking negative thoughts, that's going to impact what you actually see. You're going to see more negativity versus if you just try to have a little bit more of an understanding. Even you don't have to be positive, you can just understand that what you're experiencing is impacted by what you're feeling.
Yeah, and we've said on this show before with the fake it till you make it being bad advice, right? Though, where
Story
it's like you don't fake it, because if you're actually faking it, that means you're making it.
Right.
Like if you have the kind of strength that pushes you through, if you can find some things to be positive about in the midst of being upset, if you can take little things with you that make it just that bit easier on you, I promise you that it's exactly what you just said. It impacts the things you see around you. How many different times am I in situations, and like you said, kindness opportunities kind of just find me instead of me seeking them out as much as I had to in the beginning. I was at Michigan's Adventure a couple weeks ago, and there was a little girl who wanted a stuffed doll that was walking, talking to her mom. And so right away I was just like, it's like a game that costs $4, you know what I mean? And I could probably win on it. So I played the game and I won her the stuffed doll. And this little girl was just so ecstatic to have this puppy to take home with her. And it was something pretty simple, and how many people where, most times you hear something like that, it's kind of just background noise. You might not even notice what a little girl is saying to her mom in passing, but I happened to be paying attention and I saw the opportunity to be able to do something nice for someone, and I jumped on that opportunity. And that's all that it takes, is that little shift in mentality to start looking for the chances to do nice things for people. Look for chances to find positives in negative situations. Yeah, they're real. Yeah, negativity is going to creep up on you all the time. Bad things are going to happen constantly, but you do get little reminders quite a bit that tells you life's not so bad, and it's up to you on which ones you're focusing on, and it's up to you which ones you dwell on. I love the guy who said that if you take 3 things with you, intellect, instinct, and inspiration, you'll always reach your dreams. And if you're doing those 3 things, because it's so important that you have balance in this life, you do have to have common sense. You do have to have some knowledge. You do have to have a wanting to learn and grow in this world, and you have to take that with you. You do need some sense of instincts. You need to be able to trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. If something feels right, maybe it is time for you to up and run with it. If something is your passion and you're not doing it, maybe you take a few more steps to try and reach out to it. You try and get back to school. You try and better your life. You try and better your circumstances, whatever the situation might be. And inspiration. How many times do we talk about on this show how much creativity plays a role in your life and how much it needs to be an intricate part? Everybody's creativity is totally different. Everybody has different outlets that
we are all creative.
Right, but we are all creative in our own way, and you need to find a way to make that a part of your life. And so I love that he kind of channeled into those 3 things there for us to focus on. And the final woman who came on there who said that you can change your story despite the facts. I love that idea, is that yes, right now, and I think you brought it up maybe during the Law of Attraction episode or something that we did earlier, when you were telling me about the woman who's a single mom in a situation and struggling, and it's easy for me to say yeah, you just think about better circumstances and better circumstances will find you. And it did have to, come to a real point of well, I mean, yes, there is extra things that you can do. If you don't think you have the time, there are little steps you can still take in your current circumstances. You can learn to be more grateful. You can do things in the present despite the fact that you have these horrible things going on, or you have these circumstances that you can't control or that you can't get a grasp on. You can still have the mentality that, yes, today sucks, but I know in the future it can be better if I'm willing to do this, this, and this. I know that if I keep this attitude, it's going to be better for me than if I have this shitty attitude. Right. If I can keep this grind mentality, it's going to be way better for me than if I have this awful attitude, and then I do nothing attitude, and I'm just resigned to whatever happens.
You set yourself up.
Right, exactly. Your mentality is a huge part in creating your life. And so I always want to make sure that this show focuses on the fact that we want you to have a positive mentality for your benefit, if nothing else.
Because, not for us.
Right, because if nothing else, I promise it reshapes your life in a much more productive way than a negative attitude does, and you see it all over the place for people.
And then it starts to affect the people around you.
It does.
And that's what's important, a little bit here, a little bit there. Help yourself, help others, but
Yeah.
help yourself first.
Yeah. Put your your safety mask on first.
Yep.
On the airplane.
Life jacket, whatever.
But let's jump back into it.
All right.
Aw.
I think it's like you have to do it twice.
Right. And they're like, "Are you sure?" Well, all right, do it now.
I should have requested one of those.
Powerade. You could use some electrolytes right now.
It's what plants crave.
Idiocracy reference.
Yeah, nobody saw that movie, though. Nobody saw that movie.
Don't listen to anyone who tries to get you to shut up or change your story. Give voice to the story only you know how to tell. Sometimes telling the story is the thing that saves your life.
That's a good point with TJ being a guest today. Damn.
As opposed to a supercomputer that's use it or lose it, grows stronger with use. But a lot of people aren't using it as much as they used to.
Right now, you can change your circumstances. You can change your life by changing the definition of yourself, by redefining who you are. You can literally change your life in under 1 second.
All right, Bubba. Slow your britches.
Well, literally
Every
is the key
minute
word.
of
Right.
the day, you can change yourself. It takes nothing more than a decision. If there is
I mean,
any
I
part of
agree,
you
Because,
or
like,
your
I'm
life
literally
fuck.
changing my
happy
life in
with
one
or
thing.
not pleased with, then it's up to you
different now.
to change it, because
Better.
there's no one else out there who wants you to succeed badly enough to
It's a-
push you
it's a
and help
circle,
you in the
you know
right
what I mean?
direction. It's all going to fall on you. It is your responsibility.
It all falls on you, Ben. It's all your responsibility.
I know.
Right now, your
It
ideal
hurts.
self. What is he or she doing? What does he or she look like? What is their life like? Really imagine in vivid detail what exactly that looks like. And now you can go to your current state of being, your current self, and ask yourself, what am I not doing that that person has done in order to achieve that level of excellence? Through conditioning ourselves to excellence by choosing excellence on a daily basis, we then become accustomed to it, and that becomes our new standard of living.
Tastes wonderful.
It does. Watermelon Jolly Rancher.
If you care about your success
We're on
more
the
than
battery,
anyone
though.
About to be
else in
illegal
the
in here.
room, I promise you this, you will be successful at some point in time.
Go Michigan.
Your life is going to follow your thoughts. If you think thoughts of mediocrity, you're going to go right down that path of
Yup.
mediocrity.
That's
If
what
you
it's all
think
about.
that your problems are insurmountable and there's just no hope, then you're going to go down
Dan.
that path of hopelessness. You've got to change your thinking before you can change your life. We have to choose to dwell on the
It's like I
positive.
just said that.
Choose
Right?
to dwell on the good. The negative is always going to be around us. We have to choose to dwell on what's right and not what's wrong.
It's always
Choose
gonna be
to dwell
there.
on what
We've
you
said that
have,
100
not on what you don't have. You got to choose to stay
It
in an
all
attitude of
repeats itself,
faith and
doesn't it?
victory. Choose to think the right thoughts. There's tremendous power in our thoughts. Our thoughts determine our actions. Our thoughts determine our moods. Our thoughts determine our self-image. Our thoughts determine the words that we speak.
This guy's hitting
Really,
it,
our
if you're
thoughts
listening right
determine
now.
our destiny.
Gets me.
Right?
So straight up. That's why I listen to this one sometimes when I'm having a bad day.
Be clear in your mind in what you intend to achieve.
Be clear in your mind. Be clear in your mind on what you intend to achieve.
That literally in 1 second changed my life. I know we were kind of laughing about that, like,
Right.
hold on here, but That's true. Like, when you think about it.
Like, literally any life-changing thing starts with a second. It's
One
true,
second,
yeah. And, you know, that seems like, you know, I even said it if you're watching the YouTube video, oh, yeah, sure, buddy, you know, but it's like, you really break it down and, damn, that's true.
Well, it's true. I mean, even just listening to that 2 to 3 second clip of him saying that, in my brain, I said, well, what do you want to achieve? And I brought it to a small scale. I said, today, I want to try on my new waders. I want to go make sure they work.
Yep.
And if I hadn't thought about that, I'd be sitting on that couch, sleeping and listening to NASCAR all afternoon. But nope. I got something to do now. I got something to do now.
Yep.
Oh,
Ben is
sorry.
full of vigor today. I apologize if you are on the podcast listening right now, because it's the second time Ben has clapped into the microphone.
Loudly, yeah.
Loudly.
Hopefully it doesn't damage any speakers. I apologize.
Oh, God.
It's just, man. I feel it. You know, it's when you get that feeling and you put yourself into that mindset of, this is what I got to do. I'm going to be positive today, even though there's negative things happening around me. That's what changes it.
It is. And, you know, I love so many different points from that.
I know you got a whole list of
literally
notes
have
here.
more on the back, too.
We're running out of paper.
Every single thing that I heard on there was just like, yes, yes, yes. So I hope that's something that you as a listener go back, timestamp some of these things when you're listening to these episodes. Save these motivational speeches for yourself for a later time. Come back and listen to it again, because I promise you that you can't digest it enough. Like, these things are awesome to just
I've
make
heard it
you
100
think,
times.
right? And I still get new stuff from it every time I listen to it. All of it falls on you. It's all your responsibilities. And, you know, like, that's something that hits home for a lot of people, because it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow that, like, I'm holding myself back, you know? It's so much easier to look at this, that, or the other thing and say that, like, this is the reason why I'm struggling. It's because of this person they got the promotion because they kissed ass, and, you know, or this person has a better life than me, and it's...
My life's being held back because I have student loans, because I didn't, you know, blah, 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 blah.
Yep, exactly. The excuses can go on and on and on, but...
And we continue to make them, but where does it get us?
Nowhere.
Closer forward or farther forward? No.
Never.
Never. Just in a better, worse mood.
And so, you know, sometimes you do have to just say, like, okay, what am I not doing? That's literally the next thing I wrote down, which is a perfect tie-in to this last part. You know, you look at the people in your life who are seeking happiness, who are living happy lives, that are, you know, reaching for goals, that are doing things. You look at, maybe they're not even in your life. Maybe just start, you know, picking up books of people who are doing good things, and people who are making big things happen, or people who are making creative things happen. You know, not everybody's drive in this world is money, and not everybody is looking for monetary gains all the time. Does money make things easier? Yes. Does it ever include a guaranteed for happiness? No. And we see that time and time again with so many different celebrities who commit suicide, you know, where it's like they have all of the accommodations in the world. They're surrounded by people who tell them all the time that they love their work and they love this, that, or the other thing, and sometimes it's still not fulfilling enough at the end of the day. And
yeah, they're fucking famous
and have tons of money. You know what I mean?
Right. Everybody says, "Oh, once I make it."
That's exactly like
that ain't the end of the road.
Yep. Once I get my come up, it's on.
That's not but that's not what's actually gonna make you happy as a human being. And I feel so strongly about that as well. You were mentioning, you know, not everybody's drive is monetary, and I feel very strongly about that. People like us, and I know a lot of people who are out there freelancing, people who are doing their own thing, being creative. You know, if you find somebody out there that you like their drive, their mission, I don't care if they've got 3 views on YouTube. If you like what they got, go find those people.
Right, support them.
In today's day and age, it's going to become so much more popular. We all watch Gary Vee.
Yep.
You know, we all watch these videos that we see on Soul Pancake, but there's a lot more out there than just sticking with one channel. And if you want that, go find it, because there are people out there doing these things that you want. There's billions of people on this earth. I'm sure there's somebody out there doing what you're requesting in your own mind.
Literally. Well, and you know, how many people might randomly just stumble across this show, you know, and they're like, right, you listen to a little bit and you're like, wait a minute, what is this?
These two dudes are weird.
A show about positivity is like a part of the description.
And they see see me here drinking Keystone
right.
Light.
Living a positive life in a world that makes that difficult at times. What the hell does that even mean? You know? So you never know who's going to stumble across. And we're one of those people where we don't have a ton of views on YouTube. We're not a
in it
major
for the money.
podcast yet. We're not in it for the money. But
most friends ask me that. When they ask me, oh, you're doing a positivity podcast? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, that's cool. How many views you getting? This and that. I'm like, you know, I kind of know a rough number. They're like, oh. I'm like,
we're not really paying attention to that as our drive.
I've grown since episode 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my goal when we started this.
And I tell people on a regular basis, the major thing that helps me is that it's just reaffirming the stuff I'm doing in my everyday life. It makes me remember why I keep the attitude that I do, why I seek out people to help in my life, why I'm passionate about helping other people, why I want that to be a cornerstone of my life. And a big part of that is just through doing this show too, where it's like I just want to bring people more positive stuff throughout the week. Trust me when I say that you're going to get plenty of stuff that's going to make you feel shitty all week. It's going to be there all the time. You can jump on your social media and find 10 people complaining. You can jump on your social media and find 5 news stories that are all about car accidents and things that are going on that suck. And we've got an Eastern equine, Aquarius, whatever virus going around in Michigan for mosquitoes.
Go to Grand Haven Informed. That's enough negativity,
right?
To seal your day off.
Negativity surrounds us everywhere. And so we just wanted to do something where it's like we're just putting out a positive message for the week. And the people who enjoy it. And
I think it's helping me grow too, and I'm being selfish again. Hopefully it's a good selfishness. But having TJ on the show here a little bit later is a big part of where I think the show's going to go, because it's going to help me change, you change, everybody's going to grow if you're listening. All these guests have their own story, their own, takes on life, and I think all of that coming together and deep conversations really what human beings are on this planet to do.
Yeah, so make sure that that's something you guys stay tuned for at the end of the episode to hear that interview with TJ.
Oh, yeah, we still got another good video.
Right, we still got another clip to roll through. But I mean, I also wrote down on there that, someone specifically said sometimes sharing your story is what saves your life. And that's, ties in perfectly to us having our first guest on here today. Yeah. And us, exactly. That, sharing our story is what makes everything for me, and it's by me being vulnerable with other people that lets them know, trust me, I'm never going to judge you. I'm never going to put you down. I don't care what circumstances you're going through. If you're someone who seeks peace, love, and happiness in this world, I will not do anything to stand in your way. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that's all I care about. Now, am I going to run into a lot of people who do not give a shit about peace, love, and happiness? Absolutely. There are mean people in this world. There are people who will step on you. There are people who will take advantage of you. Unfortunately, that's just the way of the world. But I promise you that far more often than not, by leading with love, by keeping that as your cornerstone, by using empathy as your eyes and walking through this world through that path, more often than not, good things find you than bad things find you. And trust me when I say, bad people will leave you very quickly because your energy will rub them the wrong way. Mm-hmm. You will not sit well with them, and they will not be able to hide the fact that that's the case. So the wrong people leave your life pretty quickly when you are doing the right things, when you're living with love, when that's your...
You don't even have to try.
Right?
It is pretty hilarious.
It's exactly that.
I'm not even perfect, and I've had people leave my life, and then I look back on it and say, oh, well, they were just not... we didn't vibe well after a while, because I used to be a different kind of person, and now I'm different... much different than I used to be.
Oh yeah, well everybody is. If you want to hear how different I am,
if you haven't changed,
go listen to the first 3 episodes of this show.
And if you haven't changed in the last 10 years, sometimes you might need to assess that.
Right.
I think even people who have reached the finish line of being the most positive, happy, in a good place, they still change every day.
They're still growing. They're still seeking those new opportunities. I still learn all the time.
Change has a bad connotation.
Yep.
Let's say grow.
Yep.
You know, because everybody changes. That can be good or bad.
Yeah, and I think we've talked a lot today about changing mentality, you know, and that's changing little things. Change the perception of how you view change. Instead of using the word change, use the word grow. Yeah. Everybody wants to grow. Some people fear change, though. Yeah. But it's easier to look at it in a positive light. If you're looking at it as I'm growing, I'm evolving, I'm learning, I'm doing these things to make myself a better future. And today might suck, but tomorrow can be brighter because of the work I'm putting in today, even if I can't see the results today.
Changing mentality can literally be changing your vocabulary. Honestly.
That is.
I've heard that a lot. It started with football coaches saying, don't say what if, say when.
Yep.
That's a big one for me, and I still carry that to my, every day. And I catch myself still doing it, even though I've done it for 10, 15 years now. Instead of saying, man, I can't wait until it's like, no, I can't wait when it's when is it going to happen? When am I going to get that passport? Damn it, I did it again. When am I going to get that passport? When am I going to step up and make that call, Small changes in vocabulary, small changes in the way you're thinking, it just sets a better road ahead.
It does. Oh, another quote from that clip you just heard. Your life follows your thoughts. You don't need a life of mediocrity and hopelessness. You get enough of that around you. Don't let it be your thoughts. Don't let it be your attitude. Don't let it guide you. Instead, to have a life where your thoughts are rooted in faith and victory and gratitude, positive things that can be pillars of your life. I promise you, just as much as any negativity that's out there, just as much as any of these things that have become crippling in your life, you can overcome them, and they can be beat back through baby steps and through starting small and finding more positive outlets. And I hope this show is one of those outlets for you, and I hope that you've, because of the show, can start looking for other ones. Maybe you went and checked out Soul Pancake because of this.
Please check out Soul Pancake.
Maybe you started looking up motivational videos on YouTube for yourself. Maybe all of these things start to become more pillars of your life, and it's a growing process. It's evolving.
The great thing is our social media and our wonderful internet marketing crews out there have made it so that as soon as you see a video like Soul Pancake or something, all of a sudden they start popping up like crazy on your Facebook. Thank God.
Yeah, now you see a lot more positivity, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes you'll be like thinking about a product you're going to buy and they pop up. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
And now that's happening with like positive videos.
If you surround yourself with, and I think that extends to the outside world. We say it all the time. Once you start a little bit of a positive journey, you're going to see it all over the fucking place.
Yep.
Look for it. It's there.
Yep.
One small step, like maybe listening to us today or thinking good thoughts with us and listening to these videos is
enough to change your attitude a little bit to have a good day today.
And then all of a sudden you're going to see it more and more and more and more because those goddamn Facebook marketing officials making great algorithms.
They are. That we try to fight all the time.
Yes. Oh, we
After you, Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Fuck you, Facebook. We love you. Please keep us towards the top. Thanks. This next one is going to really hit on what we're going for, though, too. Like, it's not all sunshine and daisies. Mm-hmm. And life sometimes comes at you fast.
Yep.
That's not a marketing plug. But this one's called When Life Hits You. And it's by Lionel Scott. We've featured him on the show before. He makes amazing inspirational and motivational videos. Please check him out if you haven't yet. He does great stuff. And he's somebody that I really like to listen to quite often because he covers a multitude of different things. Mm-hmm. This one's going to be real.
Yeah, you can always find those links on our Libsyn feed. Sometimes, usually in like Apple on the description and stuff. All the links are on there for you to always click on and carry you through. So go ahead and take a listen.
Just a nice, quick, short one.
Right.
Lionel Scott really does a phenomenal job. 2 million subscribers and stuff. It's unbelievable.
See, we're already at like almost 40 minutes.
I told you. It's going to be
a long episode.
At least an hour and a half. Boy, if you would have told me that 2 hours ago, I might have gotten sick.
Good thing you're almost done, Ben.
I'm not too worried about it. I'm feeling good now, Sean.
Good.
I was rough when you first showed up. I'm feeling better now. Maybe it's the hair of the dog.
It is. It's because you're drinking more Keystone.
No, I should stop.
All right, now you guys can listen if you're on YouTube.
It used to impress me when somebody had the faith to start something.
What?
Now what impresses me is somebody who has the fortitude to finish it.
At some point in your life, drama gonna come and meet you in your face, mess with you, and try to get you to quit doing what you're doing. There's times in your life when things gonna happen that you've got to begin to put your dream on hold. It's called life.
Things aren't always gonna work out, and things aren't always gonna go your way.
That clip was in a previous video we played.
You actually have to make them go your way. You have to make them work
I
out.
bet a lot of these kind
You
of.
have to suck it up and handle it.
Can't wait till you're a guy that goes up
That's
and
what
just
they call
talks to people
being
on
a
stage.
risk taker, walking by faith and not by
We could
sight.
just use my clips.
Stuff happens to you.
I won't even have to be here.
Right. Well, no.
Just when
Still
it
need you,
seems
Ben.
impossible to hold
He's gonna
on.
quit the show.
No, I'm not.
That's the time to hold on.
I'm still not. You still thinking about that? Sean, I was joking.
You will fail your way to success. You will fail your way to success. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. It doesn't matter how many times
You will
people
fail
tell
your way
that
to
you can't.
success.
It doesn't
Holy
matter
crap.
if you have a dime in the bank. You will fail your way to success.
Fall down, get back up again. Fall down, get back up again. Fall down, get back up again. That's how you win.
Don't you quit. I don't care how many times you fall. Get yourself up, dust yourself off, and try it again. You got to man up. Sometimes you got to say it with your chest. I ain't gonna
Kevin
quit.
Hart.
I ain't gonna
Say it with
give
your
up.
chest.
I'm the head and not the tail. I will be successful. I have an extraordinary mind. I have an amazing determination. And in the end, I'm going to have the victory.
Almost like we just heard
See,
that.
when you make a commitment,
On the
I'm
last
become
video.
wealthy. When you make it
Right?
important,
Tie-ins, people. That's what it's all about.
It's literally the same
life
thing.
changes for you. See, most people don't keep their commitments to their
And we just choose this
That's why they
randomly.
lead lives of poverty, lives of misery, lives of unhappiness. So part of what you must do, whatever commitment that you make, keep your commitment to your commitment. No matter what. If it's hard, then do it hard. But keep your commitment to your commitment. Know your vitamin. Get excited about the no. Why? Because every time someone says no, that brings you another step to a yes. You're getting closer. Trust me, you will win if you don't quit.
And we're recording.
You will win if you don't quit. And that is something that, you know, when you're struggling, it's really hard to get through, but it's something that I always want to hit on with you guys on this show. It's something that I want to drill home time and time and time again, because of the fact that that is the only time that you fail is when you quit, because you give up on it. You throw in the towel. If you're not quitting, then you're still pushing through and you're still succeeding in some way or another because you're still trying.
I know I saw you write down there a second ago when we were listening to that. You will fail your way to success.
Yup.
And I think that's so strong for me because I've taken stabs at being an entrepreneur and working for myself. And
Yep.
even after that, bringing it to my career and what I'm doing now, there's never... People think, okay, this guy started here and then now he's successful. It's never a straight path, though.
Yep.
You hit a dead end. You turn around and come back. You hit a dead end. You turn around and come back. You hit a dead... Literally hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe not millions of dead ends in your life.
Right.
And it's not a straight path. But
No.
you find, even today, I'm successful for being here today, and I've had 1.5 million dead ends. You turn around, you readjust, and you get back on that correct path to get to where you're going.
Yeah, it's like most people look at like your journey as some linear thing. You know what I mean? Never
Beyonce
realizing
started singing, then she sold millions of
of
albums.
records. But you know, it's much more comparable to like a maze. You know, on like a dinner mat at Steak and Shake. That like you go through, and you know when you're a kid and you're using that crayon and you hit the dead end and you're like, crap, turn around, go back.
You can't erase
way.
a crayon,
right?
but you figure it out.
But you figure it
Just
out.
like
You
life.
you just
erase
turn
it.
around and
Yeah.
you go back. And so, like you said, you hit a lot of those dead ends. A lot of those things creep up on you, but the only time that you truly fail is when you quit. You know, you can keep trying, keep that faith in yourself that setbacks are only learning opportunities. They're not the definition of your story.
Yeah, you're right. I just want people to be careful too. Whoop.
Jeez.
Well, that's gonna throw things off. But
Thanks, Ben.
It's wild.
Between clapping into the mic and shaking the table
No.
and now setting an alarm to
Oh,
go
no.
off in the
12
middle of our
alarms.
episode.
No.
12 alarms
Horrible.
were about to go off on
No.
us.
But I think that's the thing, is that you're going to make a lot of mistakes in life. I've made a shit ton of mistakes in life. And
you just made
it's
one.
not... Oh, yeah. But is anybody going to remember that in 50 years when they tell my story?
Only me.
And that's why I hesitated a little bit, is because some people are like, oh, every decision I make is a big deal.
Yeah.
And I like to say, yes, it is. We preach that. Every decision can be a big impact.
Yep.
But you can't sweat it so much that you're afraid to make decisions.
Right.
You got to let it go. Just go with things. Be
Yep.
smart and kind.
Setbacks
and
happen.
intellectual. What was it? Intelligence, intellect, and imagination. Inspiration.
Yep.
I'm going to throw imagination in that mix,
Yeah,
because I think that's another I word that needs to be in that mix.
Yeah, I like it,
But,
man. Good job.
Thank you. But it's these small things, and don't worry so much on a day-to-day basis of, I did this today, my life's fucked now.
Yeah.
You know, I fucked up last night.
My whole life
whole
is
life
over.
is fucked.
Yep.
I'm a bad person.
Yep.
It can happen, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But if you're on the road to being a happier, more positive, more genuine person, I feel like we're all already in a better place than the people who aren't thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it doesn't matter how many times you fall off the wagon, you can always get back up, dust yourself off, and start walking that trail again.
Or run after that wagon because it has gone too far.
That's right.
It's
we
still
talk
possible.
we talk about working out on this show all the time and metaphors with it. You know,
I
that
never
like
do, but
no, but you know, like that it doesn't matter. You can always go to the gym tomorrow. You can always find the motivation tomorrow. You can always find the motivation still today if you're listening to this show, because who knows what time it is for you. So if you're thinking about being more positive today, do it. Take that attitude with you. If you're thinking about going to the gym today, do it. It's a perfect day to start working on yourself. If you're thinking about eating healthier, go do it, because you know it's the perfect time to kickstart that motivation for you.
If you're thinking about calling that old friend, do it. If you're thinking about calling family, do it. If you're thinking about sending that email or rewriting your resume, if you're thinking about, you know,
looking for
anything,
new opportunities.
Shoot, even if you're just looking to, you know, clean up around the house a little bit more than you typically do. Those small things are going to get you where you want to go.
That's right, baby steps.
Stay on it.
Baby steps.
Do we get to hear from TJ yet?
Yeah, I think that we'll roll into the interview. That is a good point, and a good time to do that.
TJ Wagon Maker Smith. What can we say about the guy?
Fantastic guy. I don't think we need to do
guy.
too much of an introduction now, because I'm pretty sure we do an introduction on the interview. Peek behind the curtains for you guys. YouTube already knows this, but the podcast, we recorded this a couple of days ago. They're separated for time. So we're plugging in the intro for you guys to listen to and to hear that interview with TJ. Great guy, worth the listen, and has a story worth sharing. And as we said on that earlier video that you heard today, sometimes sharing your story can save your life. So we want to present that opportunity to you guys, as we said earlier today. If you ever want to be a guest, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to the BOWA Show on Facebook. You can reach out to Ben or myself.
Or Twitter.
Yep, we're hoping we can find a way to even do like Skype calls if you're not someone who lives around the area who'd like to be a guest.
Yep.
We want to record those conversations and find a way to plug them in as well. So
I think we need Kenny on the show.
Kenny does need to be a guest, yeah. Yes. At the very least, he wants to sit in and see, you know, kind of how we do it.
Well, no, he's going to be on the show. He's going to be front and center.
Forced into a position of
Here you are, guys. Sit down.
uncomfortability.
Tell us your things.
That's right.
I'm excited to hear from TJ.
Yeah, but go ahead and take a listen to our first ever guest. Thank you so much, TJ.
TJ Wagon Maker Smith. Find
Big
him.
time.
Give him a high five. Give him a hug.
time.
He's doing it real big. His engineering, audio engineering career is absolutely growing on a daily basis, and he was even telling us on this interview a little bit how he just all of a sudden he realized that he was having some lapses, not liking what he used to enjoy, so he fucking fixed it.
Yeah, he did.
He fucking fixed it. He went out
Yep.
there, you know,
and on top of dealing with depression, he tried, you know, the natural ways like everybody talks about, like exercise and, you know, going out and doing the things that you enjoy, and he was still not able to pull himself out of the funk, and he sought a counselor, and, you know, he did all of these things, and he found this order of things that worked for him. And so go ahead and take a listen to TJ's story.
It was a wonderful interview with TJ.
It's a good point to cut on here for a minute.
All right, let's do a sound check. Sound check. This is Ben 1 2 1 2.
Sean speaking. What's up, everybody? TJ Wagon Maker Smith here. Click subscribe.
It's a good test right there.
Sound check. This is Ben. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sean speaking. What's up, everybody? TJ Smith here. Click subscribe.
I think we sound
Hey
good.
guys, click subscribe below.
I have to
Right
do it every
here.
episode.
I'm gonna post
dude.
a link
I
right
even say
here.
it. Like, I apologize every time. I'm like, I know it gets old, but I really have to say this shit because it matters.
I found out it's over your left shoulder. Right
Okay.
here is always the subscribe button. Right over here is always your left
Right
shoulder.
down there.
Yeah. I did.
But is that backwards
I did
because we're recording?
No, that's what. See, I did some research.
Okay.
See, this is where you go. You point right here, and then on the video,
box shows up.
It
it's
will
a
be
subscribe
pointing
button.
right there.
No, because we. Oh.
Because it's bottom right. So if we point down here,
I don't know.
it
We'll
flips
figure it
there.
out another time. Otherwise, they'll just flip us. It'll be
Right.
fine. And then it'll say Reeb.
But yeah, it's a. I say that in jest though because like 95% of the podcasts you listen to really do say it.
Everyone
every single
says it.
time.
You have to. It's just what you gotta do.
And it sucks. It's part of it.
Hey,
Hannibal Buress, the comedian. You know who he is?
Yeah.
One of my favorites, dude. I saw him in Kalamazoo, and he did a joke like about that. Oh wait, no, I'm really stoned and just totally forgot what I was talking about. What were we talking about?
Click subscribe.
Click subscribe. That's it. So he's standing outside this nightclub, wasted, and like he got into an argument with a cop, and like he said he didn't know it was a cop. The guy was like off duty, but he was like getting pissed about it. So he had some of his cop buddies arrest Hannibal Buress. And, like, he was getting pulled out, and he was talking about how, like, somebody pulled out their phone to record him, and as he was getting pulled away, he was like, it didn't matter how drunk I was, I remembered to say, like, subscribe, share. He's like...
Don't move these closer to you unless you want them in the shot.
Okay.
They're not in it now.
Right. All right.
What's funny?
I'm laughing at the Hannibal Buress.
Don't. Are we recording right now?
It's been recording since I walked over here.
We'll cut her whenever we need to.
Yeah, you can just edit whatever you want.
All right, you guys ready to go? How are we going to lead them in? Just say, hey, we got TJ Wagon-Maker Smith here for a special 25th episode, or you can negate that part, but whatever you want.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be towards, like, the
red leather, yellow leather.
End of the
What is it?
episode?
Red leather, yellow leather.
Unique New York.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Tip of the tongue, teeth in the lips. Tip of the tongue, teeth in the lips. Tip of the tongue in my dick.
But yeah, I guess where do we want this to go in the show? Because that kind of depends on
it's
how
probably going to go news, one video clip, us talking, and then maybe we can, depending on how this conversation goes, we can add them in after the first one if it fits better, or the second one before comedy. We'll just, like, depending on how it goes, we'll see, oh, here, when we pick 2 videos for the show, which one does it fit better behind? Mm-hmm. Probably after the second video is what I'm expecting. Kind of like finish off with this, then comedy, then go.
We can just start off too, as far as like how this part of the episode goes, is just being like, well, it's like, how I helped you guys, or how I reached out to you the first time.
Yeah.
So I saw you doing the podcast, I reached out, said if you need any help.
And we needed help.
Do we want to record an intro with him here, even if we don't include him during like a first talking segment? We could say, hey, we're here, 25 episodes, we got TJ Wagon-Maker Smith here, whatever, and he can say, hey guys, how's it going, this and that, and even if we don't use him for the first audio clip in the show, and we put him at the end, he was still there throughout the show.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
Record an intro with him?
Yeah. Oh, well, of course I'm going to do an introduction anyway, otherwise it's just weird as fuck.
Right.
I mean, like the beginning of our show, like welcome to the BOWA Show.
Right, no, I'm figuring it'll be either middle or end of the episode.
Okay, so don't include him on the intro to the show, 25 episodes?
I mean, I might still say when we start the episode, because obviously we're going to record that later.
But we don't need him to chime in.
Right, no. All I'm going to be like is, hey, just so you know, for our 25th episode, we're also having a guest on today for the first time ever, and it doesn't have to be yet.
I like it.
Later
Sounds
on,
good. All right, well, Sean, you know where to lead us. We're just going to go with it, right?
Yeah.
You can't be working on notepads. That's full.
It's true.
TJ, you don't get one. You got to think on the fly.
That's all right.
Well, thankfully, all the answers will be from his head, so it's not very important.
Oh, we're putting this on the YouTubes?
Yeah. We're on video right now.
Well, yeah, doesn't mean I got to...
I don't know how much of this is actually going to stay on video, but there have been some funny moments in here.
On you. You've been on Facebook Live for the last half hour.
Luke says don't put it on Facebook.
Don't put it on Facebook?
Or the YouTubes, whatever you want. The social medias, and MySpace and stuff.
Don't put it on there?
Whatever the local youths are on, I don't know.
Yeah, the Zangas.
Yeah, come get it.
That's not on screen.
I mean,
no,
we are
that's
recording
not on
right now,
screen.
but it's not.
This is yours. Where's mine?
I don't know. I just work here.
It's
Odie, you need to be quiet throughout the show. Don't let him lick your legs.
He will. Oh, he has pants on. He's all good.
Yeah, he's gonna be a good boy.
All right. I think you need to lean
lean.
back a little bit. You need to stay right about there, because any closer and you're gonna overpower both
Sure.
TJ and I.
I need to not.
And when you do speak, just towards the microphone, if anything. Don't be, over here on your right or anything.
He's an audio
He's a
guy.
goddamn pro.
He knows to fucking aim at the microphone. What kind of Rudy Poo shit do you think this
It's cool.
is?
You're the boss. I'm the guest.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go upstairs. All right.
Yeah.
We ready to go?
Yup.
3, 2.
And we are very happy to have our first guest ever on the podcast, TJ Wagonmaker Smith.
And he's a great guest indeed.
It is. It's
very important to us.
It is, and it's important for us to tell you guys why, because of the fact that when I first put out there that I wanted to do a show like this, TJ was the first person who reached out to me to be like, hey, if you need any help, just let me know. And little did I know, we were going to need a lot of fucking help from you.
Holy shit. Shit, I'll drink to that.
That's right. So they're both enjoying their nice diet colas, if you're
Diet
listening
colas.
on the podcast. That's right. It's awesome, though, to have you, because you were an intricate part in this show becoming a little bit better, and a lot of bit better. Yeah, if you listen to our first 3 episodes, those were pre-TJ help, and those were terrible sounding audio quality.
I'd say, the early days, I wouldn't say it was terrible, because we had... All right, they were terrible.
They were
terrible
really
audio
bad.
quality.
They were really bad, dude. And so
They
he
were
brought us to a new program, a new setup that just kind of took things off for us, makes our audio quality so much better. So we're eternally grateful for that, TJ.
Oh, man. I'm proud to be a part of it.
And I'm so happy that you were willing to be our first guest today, because everything that I want to talk to you about is something that I feel like a lot of people out there listening can relate to. On top of the fact that you're willing to be vulnerable like that and share your story, and it's just a part of your journey. And you want to share that mental health awareness with other people to make it a little bit easier for them to come to light with it as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm all about being totally transparent with my past experience that I've had the past couple of years.
So I knew you fairly well in high school. Obviously, we're 12 years removed from high school now.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely knew you well in high school, and then, everybody goes their separate ways, and you kind of fade off. And so I know that, you were a pretty happy kid in high school. Yeah,
oh, yeah. I was like a golden retriever.
Yeah.
Happy-go-lucky man.
Yeah, energy through the roof. Definitely one of the things I remember about you.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. So, and I know that you started to come into a point, though, of more struggles with it, right?
Oh, yeah. Not until I was in my late 20s.
Okay.
So I think I kind of noticed it more. Just I was like, man, everyone starts to lose a little energy and a little steam once you get older. But I just noticed more seasonally, I'd kind of noticed man, winters became a little rougher.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not quite as happy with stuff. And then I reached at one point where a couple of years ago, I just was like, man, I'm just down all the time. I just wanted to go home and sleep. And I had an active job. I mean, I was out there. I was just busting my butt all day. And then I'd come home and I'd want to go skateboard or do something that I like to do that brought me joy.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, I'd just rather sleep.
Yeah.
So and then it turned into this thing of well, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
So and then I didn't think too much of it, and I just kind of dealt with it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So and then not dealing with it led to I don't know, more of a life episode kind of thing.
Like a breakdown.
Yeah, kind of like a breakdown. I kind of got to a point where it was just I had a point where it's I need to really assess where I'm at mentally right now.
Yep.
So.
And I know, a lot of things that we talk about on this show are just, the first steps. You know what I mean? Obviously...
Sparking it.
You can say... I mean, anybody in the world could have said all the right things to you at that time, but it's not anything that you would hear at the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, for you, and I know I talked about this with my story early on, too, what did you feel were, your first steps? You know what I mean?
My first steps... I think the first steps was honestly just acknowledging that I think that I might have something wrong going on. Whether there was anxiety or the depression, anxiety mix that I had. I didn't know what to call it.
Right.
And that was the hard part too, was I don't know why I feel this way.
Yeah, because I can understand in today's day and age as well, especially it's saying we're male as well, just in America nowadays, males have this stigma where they got to be tough all the time. It's still there, right?
Yeah.
But on top of that, we've also got the mental health stigma where oftentimes people say, just cover it up. Let's not talk about it.
If
So
you
how
say,
do we find that?
Because there's that line of being like, well, I don't want to say there's something wrong with me because then people are going to, like, am I crazy then?
Right.
Because then it's like, if you don't have that in your family or you don't talk about it, then if you're that single person out, then it's like, well, I don't know how to deal with this, or I don't know how to talk to people about it without them maybe overreacting or also not knowing how to deal with it.
Right.
So.
Well, it has changed too. I will say in the last 10 to 15, 20 years maybe, it's become a little bit more open, for people to be able to find outlets to talk about it, or at least find out, there's been a little bit more awareness on it. But in general, it still doesn't reach every household, every person. So,
right.
And it's crazy too how it is just one of those mental battles that literally you feel so alone, and that you're so alone in the struggle of it, and nobody else could understand it, you know what I mean? And it's like one of those, little do you know how many people are actually going through this on a daily basis with themselves, and are like just terrified to talk about it the exact same way you are, because like you said, you just think this stigma is going to roll down with it.
And that's exactly it. I remember when I think one of the first things I did when I realized I had something was I went online, went to Google, and I looked up therapists in the area, and I kind of called around, and first person that could get me in, that was the person I went with. So, and luckily for me, it was a great fit for my personality.
Good.
So it was close.
Because that can be rare. Like, I've looked myself in past years, and there's 50 to 60 people around this area sometimes now too, which is good, but it's
also overwhelming.
Sometimes you can close the computer and say, this is too much, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Exactly. Or you get somebody who's like, well, I can't fit you in for a month, and you're like, well, I don't know if I can wait a month.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't know how I'm going to feel in a month.
Yeah.
So, and then you just kind of almost have a panic attack or anxiety about that even.
Right.
So.
It can be a daunting task. It's kind of like, you go, a terrible analogy, but you go to Meijer's now and there's about 100 cereals. You never had cereal before. What do you choose first, right? I said terrible analogy.
He nailed it on the head.
But,
terrible.
For sure. But sometimes now you're like, I want to get into this. I'm interested. And you find out that there's ways to, you can go online and talk with somebody just online. You can text. You can, there's free things.
You can video chat with somebody.
Right?
Yeah. How do you start? And I think that's definitely...
Some people...
We've talked about the hardest thing sometimes is getting to the door. Like the first step. And even though it's daunting, because it's so easily accessible, hang with it, you guys. You gotta hang with it.
No, agreed.
And so...
After that...
I know too, okay, so you start the counseling sessions and you do feel like it's a good fit.
Right.
I think that's, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 episodes ago when we were doing something about mental health again then. One of the video clips that we played for everybody was people talking to their therapist. And so many of them talked about how, like, sometimes it might take 2 or 3 different people. Like, you're not always going to feel comfortable with the first person. So that's really awesome that the first person that you got actually was a good fit, and it was something that you could take off with. So, I mean, how early in the process did you try to bring in other people? I know we had talked about specifically talking to some friends and saying that, like, they had been in similar situations too.
That was one of the hardest parts too, was talking to your friends about it. Because, when you're associating yourself as like I thought I'm just kind of a happy-go-lucky, energetic guy who liked to be really active and outdoors, and that's how I thought of myself. It was hard to come to a realization where I started to think of myself as, well, realistically, I hang out inside a lot, I'm more secluded, I'm not as outgoing as I used to be. It's like your whole image and idea of yourself starts to change, and you're like, I don't want to be that person. Like, that's not really who I am.
You stop seeing the same person in the mirror.
Exactly. And so I remember the first time I reached out to my friends, I remember it was probably harder than to tell them, I think, to suck it up and, like, put my pride aside and be like, hey, like, I think that maybe I'm starting to feel a little depressed. And, like, and them to take it seriously was nice. Yeah. So, because you can also be met with some hesitance, like, I don't know how to deal with it.
Lucky,
I don't know how to deal with that.
Did you do that before or after contacting a therapist first?
I did that before I contacted a therapist.
Okay, so it was like that, like even that was like your first step then, I guess you could say.
It was kind of like
that's
my first
a big
step.
First step.
Right.
Because, I've got friends right now that I've had for years and I've never told about any of my struggles, and they, they may or may not be watching this video, but that's bigger than going to a therapist and keeping it all between you and them.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's that whole. It's like you said, even, and obviously your friends love you and everything else, you know.
Yeah,
but in
friends
that
and family.
moment, you still just have that hesitation of judgment. You know?
For sure. I mean, it's just as hard to tell your parents, I mean,
Right.
Especially, I mean, everyone's got to see it.
Yeah.
You're just like lying to yourself if you think that no one else notices.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
But I mean, talking about it with people, I think that was honestly one of the most helpful things I did, was realizing that I wasn't alone, and that like my other friends had gone through it, or were also going through it. And I had no idea because they never talked about it with me.
Right. What was the tipping point though, where all of a sudden you determined that it wasn't something you could handle on your own?
I think the tipping point was when I really, really wanted to do things that made me happy, but even when I tried to do things that used to bring me extreme joy, so like going skateboarding, playing music, hanging out with friends, going to concerts, like I would do those things thinking like, all right, I'm gonna go to this concert, I'm gonna feel way better, and I'd like still feel the same, and I'd just be like, there's literally nothing I can do that's gonna like raise my mood. Like I can get more energy from like exercising or something, but nothing was working up here. So that's when I realized
You almost needed a stimulant, like the gym, or like a couple of beers or something.
Right. And so that's when I thought, like, all right, I think maybe I should actually try something. So and that was the thing. I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna try.
So did you think of the therapist on your own, or was that a suggestion of the friends, or?
No, I thought of that on my own.
That was just like, this is something I know I want to do.
Yeah, that was definitely something where I was very hesitant about as well. So, and like I said, I got really lucky meeting my therapist and then really enjoying and clicking and hitting it off. So we were actually a lot alike personality-wise. So it was like kind of just like talking to a friend.
Right.
So, and that's what made it the most comfortable for me. So, and then he was just trying to give me, all the exercises that we did and things. I think the biggest thing is if you don't have any struggles with like mental illness, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, you're not aware of it and you're not thinking about it. So I think once I was more aware of it and I became more empathetic, I think, towards other people when I saw them out in public, thinking like, all right, maybe that person's alone over there, and like, maybe they're going through something right now.
Dude.
So it made me like want to approach people more too, and be like, well, it's like, I bet you this person, if they're alone, probably wouldn't mind me going over there and talking to them and trying to strike up a conversation. So.
Be kind always.
I
say it on almost every other.
He really does. I was about to say that. He was like, that you can never know what battle someone's facing.
It's cliche, but I think it should be. I hope everybody and their brother knows it. I mean, just be kind always. You never know the struggle somebody else is going through.
Exactly.
And so that helped you open up a little bit, too. Where you started seeing that and be empathetic, which is something which a lot of people struggle with. But once you saw that and you started taking these steps, you're saying like sometimes you'd see somebody at a restaurant or a bar, or just like out on the street, you'd smile.
I'd see people like at shows, or I'd see people like at work that normally I wasn't going to say hi to, and I'd be like, I'm going to go make my way over there, introduce myself, or say hi, and try and catch their story. It's like, then sometimes it's like you get somebody in the cafeteria sitting a couple tables down from you, they're alone, you're alone, you haven't introduced yourselves.
Right.
So that happened with me. It's where I eat lunch with a couple guys now, and I think it's just because I went over to them and introduced ourselves. So.
Putting yourself out there.
Exactly. It's just putting yourself out there. But
so you've now done that twice by reaching out to friends, 3 times, reaching out to a counselor and reaching out to people.
Yeah, and outside. it's just like you said, it's just stepping through that door. So, because I mean, I stood at that door for like a year and a half. Before I actually moved, like, opened the knob, turned it, and just went right through the door. For it. Yeah. So, but I was a year of me just being frustrated, where I was like, eventually, just like. I put my hands up and was like, I'm just gonna try. So like something's better than nothing. So.
Yeah, and so you're going through your counseling sessions. How long ago? I mean, at this point, was that?
I quit going. I still try to go like once every 6 months. But I mean, I quit going like just probably about last spring.
Okay.
So yeah, I went.
So like
I
6 months.
About 6 months, yeah. Okay. So and like I said, I'd probably just.
I've got one lined up. You've got one coming up soon. That's crazy.
So
good timing for this.
That's a big thing because a lot of people think, oh shoot, well I'm gonna have to go to
forever.
You know what I mean? Oh, I mean, when I first started, I went every week. It was every Wednesday.
Well, it's by the person, right?
Yeah,
it's very
exactly.
Unique.
Everybody's unique. So do what you got to do. So
and that's what
I think it's good to keep like a mental checkup. Just like exercising, it's like, all right, every now and then you quit exercising, or I should probably go for a run, and like try and get this revamped a little bit. I figure it's the same thing. I should really take an assessment and then check
Every
in with
once in a
somebody
while.
else that knows where I'm at or where I was.
Yeah,
But it's
that's
also
unbiased.
good. It's also good to see too, though. Like there's maybe not like a quote unquote finish line.
No, there's
but
not a
it's
finish
not
line.
always a constant uphill battle. It's
Right.
not like a forever thing.
Right.
You know, there is there is a way.
There's
to
no I'm
feel
better now. I can quit. It's I'm
Right.
going to keep working at this.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm going to recognize the signs in case you ever start to maybe move backwards and
Well, such
your
is
progression.
life. Like with diet, like with
Right,
friendships.
exactly.
Such is life.
Well, and the important reason why I wanted to have you on is just because I want to always have a feature of diverse solutions to these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a big believer that everybody's different. And something that I always say on this show is like, please, whatever works for me does not work for everybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I want to share what works for me because of the fact that it might work for some people.
Right.
And so that's a major part of me wanting to have you on too, because I know that like we talked about the first time you came over when you brought us like the programs and stuff like that, you said it was about finding like that balance of like therapy and medication and, you know, starting to do better things and, you know, eating better and
Right.
and finding joy in those things that once weren't bringing you joy again,
Right.
you know?
Like I think often of this quote, and it's kind of cheesy, but it's the John Lennon quote, and it's this poster that you'd see, and it says, when I was a kid, my teacher asked me what I wanted to be, and I said happy, and she said, I think you misunderstood the assignment, and I told her, I think you misunderstand life.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and that's how I feel. Like I had one of my friends used to always ask me, every time I hung out, I never understood it, I think, until later on in life, but when I was younger, he'd always ask me, hey, how you doing? Are you happy?
Yeah.
And then that was always his like emphasis. It was always, yeah, but are you happy?
Yeah.
And I always thought it was like, it's like he's always asking if I'm happy.
Yeah.
But he knows I'm happy.
Right.
You know, but I think I didn't realize that he was thinking like, are you truly like okay and happy?
Yep.
That's
So,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I like going that approach. Like, it's good to check in with your friends. How you doing?
Yeah.
Are you happy?
It's funny that you say that too. One of our best listeners, his name is Kenny, and we talk about him all the time on this show. You can ask him. That is something that I say to him on a regular basis because I was like, I feel like way too often people are just so impersonal with things, and it's just like, hey, how you doing? And you go through the motions.
Right.
And it's like, oh,
living
yep,
in paradise,
living the dream.
Yeah.
Yep. You know how many people just hit you with that, living the dream, and you're like, yeah, but are you happy? You know, and that
that's
like
a
takes
much
it. It
different
does.
conversation.
That takes
It's a
it
different route.
That takes you to a whole new place. And so I love that you brought that up because ultimately that's everything that I just want this show to be about, you know, is that it's leading you to a place of happiness. And you found several things that came together to give you more of that balance again, to give you more of that life again.
Yep.
And it's so important to share that story with people because it's I was telling you when we were off the air that, you know, each time I tell my story, it's almost like a little release, you know, and it's
for
like
sure.
it's like you acknowledge the past, you recognize it because you know you never want to go back there, you never want to experience that again, but it's not your defining thing anymore.
Right, exactly. And that's the biggest thing is it's not your defining thing.
Right.
So I guess now you're 6 months removed from it. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, there's still, everyone I think has like their ups and downs.
Yep.
I don't think anybody should ever just be riding a happy high
No.
forever. It's all about...
that's a red flag.
It's a red flag,
That's
for
a red
sure, yeah.
flag.
That means you're nuts.
That means your medication's too good.
Right. You need to
So-
find a balance there.
So I'm like, everyone's got to feel emotions.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like everyone's got their ups and downs. There's good days and bad days. There's
Yep.
days where you just feel like trash and days where you feel like, all right, I'm king of the world.
And we're
today.
not talking exterior appearance because a lot of people say, wait, I know somebody that's always happy. But that is, you know, we're not saying that. We're saying, like, internally. I know people that are eternally happy on the outside, but they still have ups and downs. I mean, that's life, you know? It's a completely different person, you know, what you have on the outside versus the inside.
Right.
So, but it is important to go through ups and downs.
Yeah. I think it's important just to constantly being assessing yourself.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, where am I at right now?
And that's why you said, like, you know, you work through things with a therapist. You see them for a while. You know, you get to a place of comfortability, and they get to a place of comfortability.
Right.
And then it's like, I don't have to come all the time anymore. I know I'm comfortable right now, but I still want to see you. You know, I still want to check in. I still need that assessment once in a while.
Yeah. I think that's nice. We haven't really touched on that. You know, we're always talking about, you know, feeling a little bit better, being a little bit more positive, looking at the good in things, but it comes down to, you've always said too, it's not all sunshine and daisies. As soon as you're feeling better, all of a sudden you're going to have like a mirage or a freaking bunch of people coming down or a bunch of negativity coming at you, it's always just good through a day-to-day basis as things go up and they go down. Just keep a mental check on yourself. Where are you at? I think that's a very important point to bring up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always got to be checking. Just check yourself. And you've talked about it a little bit when it comes to like, after something happens that should get me mad or sad or angry, I take a mental check.
Yep.
I do my thing, and then I adjust it.
Yeah, you should be self-assessing all the time.
All the time.
It's crucial. And one other thing I wanted to ask, I mean, did you have, and I know, a lot of times when it comes to like medication for these things, did you have any like issues early on? Did you go through like any phase of like, I feel like a zombie or?
I got really lucky in the sense that I did not. Okay. I was really careful. I was very hesitant. I mean, when I first went to the doctor,
it's scary. Medication.
Yeah,
is
and I read from first paragraph to last paragraph all of the possible side effects, what it did. I researched like other people's issues with it online for what I specifically took, and I was like terrified. I had it for 3 months and didn't take it. And I went to the doctor again, and I was like, hey, I didn't take this, but I think I'm going to start. Like, is that okay? And then went from there, and honestly, it was the best decision I made within the past 3 years, 100%. So.
And
I just got lucky where it worked.
Right, and so, right out of the gate. Yeah. Because I know that that's something that I always want people to know. And it's like I just said a few minutes ago, everybody's different circumstances.
I've got friends who have tried like 3 or 4 before they got to the one that worked for them.
Yup, exactly. So you have to be okay with just like feeling this process out, And I guess it's nice that you're our first guest, where like everything just kind of dominoed for you. We talk a lot about the law of attraction. You sought out help. You were looking for solutions.
I mean, I was before that too. I was listening to the self-help podcast. Like every day. Like I had an hour drive to work. I'd listen to one on the way to work and one on the way home from work. So and they like both of them I listened to. One of them is the Rich Roll podcast, and it's not technically a self-help. But the way that he lives life, it's kind of like your podcast. It's all about positivity. A lot of it he uses like meditation and other forms. He interviews all these athletes and these like monks and all these really cool guests, but it's all about mindfulness. And that's when I was trying to like, all right, I tried on my own to see if that would help me. And that's when I knew like at some point I was like, all right, it's like as much as I'm eating healthy and being mindful, it's still not enough. I need to take that one step further. So.
And I just love hearing like the progression that you took. Like you said, you first admitted it to yourself. And then it was admitting it to your friends, and then it's admitting it to family, and then it's admitting it to a counselor.
A complete stranger.
Right. And it's that whole process of just admission after admission after admission, and it's just baby steps, you know what I mean?
It really is. It wasn't an easy or quick process for me. It was 3 to 4 years of me going through it and not knowing how to handle it. And like I said, the best thing I did, though, was finally turn the handle and step through the door and say, I'm going to go further and get help from somebody else. So after doing all the self-research, I was like, I can only take myself so far, I guess.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I absolutely love hearing. You know what I mean? Is that, like, you were trying, and they're just, I think we mentioned the Jim Carrey quote a couple of times where he's like, yes, these things are all real, but if you're not doing this, this, and this, you're not giving yourself a fighting chance. And so you were someone who was putting in that legwork, and you were putting in that effort, and you were trying to do these things, and you're listening to podcasts that make you remember all these things and try and put them into practice, and just realizing, like, sometimes it's okay to admit, like, I need a little more help, or I need someone else's help.
Can't do it on my own.
Yeah, it's the same thing as I feel like if your knees hurt, and you're just like, man, I've been stretching, I can walk it off, but then like 3 months down the road or 6 months down the road, your knee gets worse, and you're just like, I've been trying to do everything I can do, and then you go to the doctor, and you find out that it's not even your knee that's the problem, it's your lower back causing your knee to hurt. And then you're just like, I never would have seen that coming.
Did you read my backstory before this? Because it sounds like you're describing me.
Really? No, that's something that actually happened to me, though. A couple years ago, I was probably like 5 years ago at this point, I was still skateboarding a lot, and my right knee started hurting like really bad, like just when I was sitting down, and then I eventually went to a physical therapist, and he assessed me, and he told me my lower back, and I just looked at him like, no, I'm here because my knee hurts. You know, and
like he's an idiot.
Yeah, kind of. And I was like, I don't want to be condescending, but I'm paying you money to tell me that my knee hurts.
Right.
So just tell me that my knee hurts, right?
Now tell me why my knee hurts.
But then he like
Give
he's like,
me
do
some
these
lunge stretches.
Yeah, and then he like maybe 15 minutes with him of stretching, like for my back.
Yeah.
And then my knee pain was gone. I'm like, what? I was like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that was something where I was like, cool. Now I can know that if like something hurts, it might not just be that one thing. Like I can try and see, you know, if my neck hurts, is it still my back? Is it
right? What else is wrong?
What
that
else?
Is bothering?
Yeah. What else?
That's kind of how I feel.
It's the same
about,
thing with mental health, though.
You have to unpack it, you know, little by little.
Right.
That's how I feel about my mental health. Sometimes I sit here and I'm like, you know, sometimes I'm not having a good day, and I look at it and say, why? You know, did anything happen at work? No. You know, did anything happen outside of work? No. Is everything running good? Car, you know, phone, computer? Yeah, everything's good. You spend too much money? No. But then you're like, it's probably because you haven't done any of your hobbies lately.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's
When
because
did you
haven't
do
called
something?
a friend lately.
Right. When did you
know?
do something that brought you an overwhelming amount of joy?
Joy.
So yeah, you know,
when the heart starts swelling. You know, sometimes it's just been too long, and you haven't had a good push like that.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like he said too, you know, sometimes in those moments, even the things that used to bring you joy, it's like you either can't bring yourself to do it or it's not the same. And,
right.
You know.
You got to keep trying.
Yep.
You know,
and that's
I
why
was that way with photography. I quit for a long time, and I'm starting now to get back into it and try. Some days are better than others. Sometimes it brings me more joy than others, but I keep trying it. If it really, after 100 million tries, it doesn't work, then I'll move on. But it comes back.
Right.
It really does come back.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I love to hear you sharing your story, just because of the fact that it's like, you know, it's a process, and it's something that, like, I don't want to say it's, you know, like, it's like recovery, you know what I mean? Like, you never fully get over it. It's something that always creeps back a little bit.
Yeah,
you always know it's there, but it's those self-checks, it's that awareness
it's just,
of it.
you got to mentally exercise yourself, just like you do your body. So keeping tabs of how in shape you are.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, and it's physical fitness, mental fitness,
right.
You know, hand in hand.
Yep.
Think of it that way.
We are definitely, I think, getting more aware of it as a society.
Yeah.
Into like today's day and age.
Yeah.
But I mean, when we grew up, it wasn't there.
No,
so
not at all.
It wasn't something we
90s
thought of.
kids, yeah.
Right.
90s kids
We're
had
right
it
on the
rough.
verge. We are the reason it's become
Right.
more acceptable and more mainstream as our generation. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's talked about a lot more. The people, you know,
and we're open about it and accepting.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm not like, oh my God, you know, TJ.
Right.
TJ's not like everybody else. He's not happy all the time. Well, you know, we all know that nobody's happy all the time.
Right.
We started talking about it.
Yep.
Thank God that we're all more accepting.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that I think drew me to, other than I thought you were an awesome person, but when I knew what your podcast was going to be about, just the positivity and like the struggles, and once you kind of told me about that,
he's gonna fucking
he's gonna be okay.
He's fine.
He good.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why I reached out to you.
Right.
So I was like, oh, it's like hell yeah. It's like Sean needs anything. Like, I'm just gonna reach out right now, and like whether he takes it or not, I'll just be like, I don't even know if he knew that like I went to school for audio production.
Right? No,
yeah.
not
So
at all.
So I was like, I take for granted that like it's like not everybody just knows that.
Yeah.
You know, off the bat either what you do for a living.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, and like anytime we had spoken stuff, you had other jobs. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? Like
exactly.
it wasn't necessarily focused around the audio. Like
Yeah.
what? I know you had a job you left like within the last couple of years, didn't you?
I was a cable guy. I
Yup.
worked restaurants.
Yup.
Since I was
Like
a
you were
security
the
guy.
cable guy?
I was the
He
cable
was the
guy.
cable
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, for like 2.5
You
years.
could have hooked me up with HBO.
Surprisingly fun job, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So.
See, that's what I love most about my job now is just like meeting new people each day.
Yeah.
You do kind of the same thing,
Yeah,
but it's a
you're
little
kinda
bit
your
different.
own boss,
Yep.
but you're also totally being told what to do.
Yep. You go here, here,
Direction
here.
is what I call it.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah,
also just
direct.
playing all day.
Yep.
So you're outside, so I
Yep.
was like
And
climbing
it's
poles.
I can do things
Yeah,
too.
hanging from wires, and it was fun.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun to me, but I'll take your word
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, it wasn't as fun in the wintertime, so.
So tell me, where are you now, TJ? Like, I know you go through you do your own checks, and you may have, once every 6 months you talk, but where are you now? What do you do on a daily basis that keeps you in check and keeps you motivated and happy? Why are you only going twice a year now versus 6 months a year 2 years ago? What are you doing now?
It's my awareness of it. I think for sure that's a big thing. always being aware of what were the signs and things that I did when I was really down. So when I would feel like the peak of my depression was, I would literally come home, go to my bed, stay there until the next morning. I'm talking like 6:30, 6 p.m. till like 6 a.m. I would just be like, I'm just gonna sit here and watch a show, and then fall
you just
asleep.
binge watch things,
and then and then I would just sleep forever. My friends would be like, "Hey, you want to go out and do something?" And I'd be like, "It's like, no, I'm good," or try to make up some excuse to not go out. So, pretty now I try to hang out with my friends. I try to hang out with them like once a week. So I got back into my hobbies. So I've been playing music again, trying to be outdoors more. I got a dog. So getting a pet makes you more responsible. You kind of have to be on a schedule. So, but I think being on a schedule honestly is one of the biggest things that helps me too, because if I have to be accountable for getting up, I mean especially with the dog, getting up, letting him out, feeding him, then coming home. I can't just do whatever I want after work. I got to come home,
take care of the dog,
take him for a walk, feed him, hang out with him. And then by that point, it's like, well, half my day's done. Like, I went to work. So when I was depressed, going to work was like the one thing that like I looked forward to, because I was like, I can just go to work and do my thing. Because then I had like purpose. But like when you kind of lose it, it's like you go home and you're like, oh, I don't know what my purpose is right now.
When you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
No, I've been there myself. You know, when you go to work and sometimes you're like, well, here's the things I have to do. This is easy.
Yeah.
But when you all of a sudden
clock out and you're like, oh, now I'm done for the day.
And then you get out of work and you're like, well, I need to do something. I've been told I need to do something that benefits me or improves my life.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're in charge of it. That's anxiety. And you're like, you know what? I give up. I'm just going to lay in bed and look at Reddit all freaking night. I just wake up at 7, try it again.
Right.
And that's just so true. Like, so many people can throw on that mask. You know what I mean? Like, for periods of time. Because like you said, you're at work, you're purpose driven, you feel it, you're okay for that time period. But it's at the end of the day when you've got your head on your pillow and you're alone with your thoughts, where are you? And what's, and that's what you have to be aware of.
Before I even started taking, once I caved and started taking the medication, one of the biggest things I was trying to do was just find anything that brought me joy. I was trying to like look at stuff on the internet and be like, I need to find some sort of hobby and like go through them and watch videos. And what I ended up finding was I got excited. I watched some kiteboarding videos, and I was like, this is really cool. And I've always liked the idea of like skateboarding with a kite, like back in the day, or like getting a bed sheet, and you're like, this is so cool. And then you see people kiteboarding, and you're just like, that's like a dream come true kind of thing. And so I got into that. It was the first time I got excited in a really long time. So then I just started watching every single video and instructional video I could find online. And then all this research and that was last winter. And so that way when spring came around, it was nice because I was like buying gear piece by piece instead of all at once. And I was like doing all my research. But it was like the one thing. So I think it's really helpful to find the one thing that brings you joy. Anything. It can be something that's new. So it doesn't have to be something that you're used to. It can be half the fun and thrill was like the research, and then once you actually get out there and do it, it was like, cool. This is super satisfying because I took months to try and do this, and I was really into it. And then once you get out there, it's like, all right, this is nice because it's something new, and I'm feeling happy again. So, and that was before I even started taking the medication. So,
so you were at least getting a taste of something.
It was a taste, but then then you quit doing that and be like, well, now I don't know what to do.
That's good self-medicating, because I've heard much worse stories of how people try to solve that same problem.
And I think that is a beautiful place to end on, man, because like you said, it is all about find something that brings you a little bit of joy.
Definitely. Find that thing.
Work towards it. It's not instant.
Right. You have to be willing to open up to the people around you. You have to be comfortable talking about it. And I am so thankful that you were willing to be our first guest today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited that the podcast is going great. 25 episodes.
Right, 25 episodes in. A round of applause for all of us.
That's exciting right there.
That's right. We are
I think we're probably going to have him on another episode.
Right.
He's going to be
returning. And I really do want guests to be more of a part of this show, because I think that like this is huge. I think that so many people out there listening are going to sit and be like, damn, I relate to that. And how many?
I get TJ.
Right, exactly.
They hear us all the time.
How many chords can we strike if we just get more people's story out there, and we let a lot of people out there know you're not alone in this fight, and that a lot of us are just walking around throughout the day, going through the motions and putting on a mask for a little bit, but going home and sleeping 12 hours.
A lot of us are going through the same thing. We just don't even realize it.
So if you're willing to find that help, take that chance and reach out to someone, put yourself out there, because happiness, you can't put a price on it.
You
know
really
what I mean?
can't.
That's what
You
life
can't.
is all about. We
Yeah.
started the show like that.
Mhm.
That's what it's all about. What do you want to
Agreed.
be when you grow up?
Happy.
Happy.
Thanks,
we all
TJ.
do.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
TJ, it's great to have you. Thanks
Cheers.
for joining us.
Yep.
All right, you can go turn that off, Bean.
Only my roommates call me that.
The BOWA Show drinking game.
Now, unfortunately, YouTube is going to have to listen to the podcast to get TJ's.
No, I recorded it. So we're just gonna plug it in, and they'll be watching this normally. So all that.
Duh. Ben.
If you're watching this on
Oh.
YouTube, the funny thing is you've already watched the interview, and now Ben looks really dumb because you
Story of
just
my life.
literally watched all of that, and now this is gonna be the end of the show.
Sean, we need some comedy. But
Oh.
regardless,
We do need to go
I am
find that real
so
quick.
I'm so happy that TJ Wagonmaker Smith was able to join us.
Yeah.